Hey,
Hello.
Terry.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing good. I hope
Good,
you are.
good. I'm doing well.
How do
Doing
you like the
well.
weather we're getting now?
Oh, I'm loving it. Can break out my little spring dresses, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I see that. I know we can change our tire a little bit, and
I,
I think the weather is getting a little bit better. I was kind of worried about Shuri there for a while because it seemed like every Saturday it was raining, and for the
hmm
downtown, farmers market looked pretty grim most of the days. But she's had a
Yeah,
couple good Saturdays, I think. So
yeah.
maybe things is changing a little bit.
The last one we had was like the business Saturday, and it was a great turnout and great weather. So yeah, we were definitely excited about that. And I think the last time I saw you was back in the 50s
That's right.
at the annual dinner that we hold annually for the Rolesville Chamber of Commerce, and that's where we take and have our dinner and give out awards and recognize people in the community. This year we had the theme was the Grease theme. Back to the 50s, and like I said, we always have a great time doing that event. um, just some of the people that we have recognized and gotten awards was like Greenway Beer and Wine. They got the Business of the Year award. Donnie Lawrence, our current fire chief, he received the community leader. And then we had a volunteer award with Theodosia T. Bills, which is actually my mom. So again, it was just a great event. And just like I said, it gives us a opportunity to take in, acknowledge people who are doing above and beyond in the community. So congratulations to all the winners of that night. And I think next year they're going with a country western theme.
That's
So
nice.
I'm excited about that, and the committee to see what they're going to come up with, and especially the decor. DeAndre of Parties Unleashed, she's the one who did all the decorations for it, and she's been doing it for the last two annual dinners, and she has done an amazing job. So much kudos to her and her business for that. So
It was a great event. The chamber I always enjoy those annual dinners and award events. They always really well. I don't know how many years been coming to them,
mhm.
but really a nice job. And it's quite a few events. I don't think people realize how much kind of goes on in the town when you talk about some of these chamber events. Well, the annual dinner or the barbecue or the parade and all this other stuff. And just for people's awareness, the town just approved its budget this past week or so, and again, the town and the chambers partnershiping together to do a lot of these events again in the next 12 months. So really excited about that. I think it's a lot of things that we do together that really makes a big benefit for the people.
Yeah, especially like I said, our partnership with the town has just been awesome. We're so appreciative of all the things that you guys do to help support us and move our chamber forward. We've been able to do a lot of good things above and beyond what we've done, in the past. And like I said, we're just really excited to be able to continue to support the town in whatever way, whatever direction we're trying to go. As you guys grow, we're trying to grow as well. So again, we definitely appreciate that. Like I said, we do a lot of things that support the community,
Mhm.
just like you mentioned about the Christmas parade, the annual dinners. The one good thing that we like to do is when we're getting out and doing those community one-on-ones, the welcome wagon. And that's something we actually partner with the local police and doing that and just going door to door and welcoming, people to the area and let them know what resources are available to them. So that is just a great time. And we're looking to get back out there, again and take pictures, with the community and say, hey, have you seen the Roseville Chamber today? So we're excited
Mhm.
about that event that's going to be coming up soon.
Yeah, well, as we grow, we're trying to maintain that little small town feel, that little
Mhm.
small town charm, and
Right.
those little things like that really help out in trying to do that for sure.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and I think our first guest is been a big influence in the chamber too.
Most definitely. So, like I said, tonight we've got a great lineup with our first guest. Like I said, is Kathy U. Vegas. She is the owner of Seniors Helping Seniors Raleigh. And the uniqueness of this medical home care agency is in the name. The organization employs older adults who have a natural desire to help make a difference in live. the lives of seniors that are in need. So, in addition to her business, Kathy is a strong advocate for seniors and currently a board member for Senior Information Networking Group. And Kathy is also a board member of the Rolesville Chamber of Commerce. So, with that, I will let you two take it away.
Thank you.
The world awaits. Under the starlight, we'll find our way, I know. This is the start of something beautiful. With you by my side, there's no place that we can't go. This is the start of something beautiful. When the wind moves along your face, it captures
Beats and happy birthday, Mary Lynn.
I long to say.
What?
So don't look back, love, and don't you wait. Just say you'll run with me, come what may.
Well, welcome, Kathy. That's a great video there. Welcome to the show. One of the things I think it's a lot of things that goes on, like what you do, that people just not aware of. The masses is just not aware of it. It's not the seniors or whatever. People just don't know about it. One of the, I guess, the blessed things I have being mayor, I get to, engage in a lot of the things that's going on in town, what's happening. I get to know a lot of the nonprofits we have and the service groups and the groups like you doing now, service work for the seniors that everybody don't see, everybody is not aware of that. And that's one of the good things about the show, from the very beginning, is try to highlight some of those things that's happening in town that is just not people aware of a lot of times. Is really good. I think one president used to call the points of light or something, and what you do and the service you give to the community in a way of helping seniors is really definitely a point of light. And maybe real quick describe seniors helping seniors, and maybe a bio of Kathy and what you have going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Mayor, thank you so much for having me on the show today. It's just such a pleasure to spend some time and be able to share, what I do for Seniors Helping Seniors, as well as the Rolesville community. So really, Seniors Helping Seniors, it's a non-medical home care. And our goal is to help as many seniors as possible age in place in their own homes for as long as they want to, with dignity and respect. And that is our mission. And through every family that we interact with, every senior that we help, that is our goal and our mission. And what's unique about us is that we are hiring individuals that are older, and we find that those are like-minded individuals. They have similar interests, similar backgrounds, and that really helps to cement that relationship with caregiver and client. And we find that these caregivers are, passionate about what they're doing, and they get as much out of this relationship as the clients that they're giving the care to. So it's a real win-win situation for everybody. The family members are getting peace of mind that there's, a caring, compassionate person that, wants to help their loved one and keep them safe and engaged and happy.
Yeah, and that's a great service, and seniors do need help in many ways, and it's really a great thing that you can help them in place and try to keep them in place, because the facilities that people move to are nice. And I went to visit my aunt over the weekend over in Durham at Hillcrest, and it's really a nice facility and all, but it's not like home.
No.
I mean, it's nothing like home, and I think you see that in your line of work. And before we move on too much, just a little bit more about Kathy. I know you are from the Rolesville community,
Mhm.
and more than likely, you have to have a passion to do what you do. What brought that passion on, and usually people have a very interesting story of how they get to be doing what they're doing.
Yeah. So, and you're right. I haven't always known that this is what I was going to do. I went to college and graduated with a degree in chemistry. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for about 15 years before I started my family. Then I was taking care of my children as well as my grandmothers. And so I was the sandwich generation, caring for young ones as well as older ones. And when my mother passed away, I was the primary caregiver for my grandmother, and she was 4 hours away. So I was dealing with trying to care for her from a distance and really didn't understand what I was supposed to do. Nobody prepared me how to navigate the aging process. And so I just relied on the facility that she was in. When she passed away, it left a huge, void in my heart. And through the years of different jobs, working in the school system, I found out about seniors helping seniors and felt like I was drawn because of my experience with my grandmother. And at the time, I was helping care for my other grandmother. So I wanted to make a difference in other people's lives. I wanted to be able to share with them the knowledge of how to do this and how to not be a burnout caregiver, that there is help out there. And so that has been my goal, and my Mima's name is to really, pay forward in her name. How can I help others just not make the same mistakes that I made?
Yeah, I think I've been through it with my parents, and at some point in time, I'm pretty sure my kids will go through it with me, because it's sort of like a passage of time.
Yep.
But it's a real scary thing. It's really a scary thing for both the children that's working with the parents, and the parents that's coming and making those decisions. And it's really good. And, I recall that I didn't have a lot of help, and we didn't have a lot of help. So it has to be really reassuring to know that somebody like you and your organization can really help people make decisions and walk through and understand what they're facing in the next few months.
Yeah, because there's no book. I mean, well, there probably are books now, but when you are in the situation, you do the best that you can to navigate this process and make the best decisions. But it's not easy for anyone. And so having experienced caregivers that can come in and take a little bit of that load off of the caregiver, to just give them a little bit of respite, a little bit of break to, take care of their own health, because we find, caregivers are in danger of caregiver burnout and sometimes passing prior to the person they're caring for, because they just don't have the time to take care of their own needs. So, being able to help not only the person, but, the family as a whole is really important.
So someone, I guess, whether it's your parent and you're helping your parent, or the parent themselves, kind of getting the feel that they need some help. What do you suggest their first steps are, and how to go about that?
So there's a few things that people look for, when they start needing help, different changes in their person, like, are they forgetful? Are they having fender benders? Are they missing appointments? Things that they've been able to do on their own that they might not still be able to do on their own. And I am a big proponent of making sure that you include that person in the conversation, that you feel like that they need help. Because I think it's important for them to have at least part of the decision process, even though ultimately a spouse or a child might ultimately make the decision. I think it's important to include the person, and that it takes a village, right? I mean, you can have neighbors, you can have family members, church members, volunteers, all to kind of help an individual. And so a family member should really look to see what resources are in their area to help provide a little bit of help. And, we're a paid resource of professional caregivers. So we're just one kind of cog in the wheel that can be helpful to families.
Yeah. So seniors helping seniors, do you partner with other organizations? Is there other organizations that you work with? And, so maybe the name ones you see on TV and that kind of thing. So what is your network,
Yeah. So obviously other home care agencies, we look for the best fit for clients. So, if we're not the best fit, then we're going to refer them to another home care agency that we work with and are happy to be able to give them a reference versus just, 1-800, go find somebody. We want to refer them to the best possible place. We refer people to independent living communities. We work with people that might have a need there. Just because they're in an independent living doesn't mean that they don't need help. So independent living communities, senior communities, like the Grande in Rolesville is an example. The Lodge in Wake Forest, that's an independent living community. And then, you've got your assisted livings like the Gardens of Wakefield, as well as Cadence in Wake Forest. And then you've got skilled nursing like Hillside. All of these people are referral partners. Aging life care managers are probably one of, our biggest resource. And they are someone who is sort of like the nucleus, and they have resources that they can help families with. So I really encourage families when they're first starting out is looking for an aging life care professional. We also get referrals from some churches and some doctor's offices. So, anybody that is involved in seniors, which, coming up in about 8 years, there's going to be more people over the age of 65 than there are under 18. So we're an aging population. So there's a lot of businesses out there that are, really trying to focus on how can we combat this this problem of not having enough caregivers to help our aging loved ones, our baby boomers to be specific, as there's like 80 million of them turning 65 by 2040.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned the Grande, which is, a nice community here in town. Been here for a few years now. One of the things, in talking to some of the residents out there, they ask me, how do they get help? Basically, they're living there, but, it's a private facility, private prices, and prices are different depending on, income and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes they just have difficulty once they get there is how to stay there. How can they make ends meet? How do they handle increases in prices once they get in there? Is there an advocate for that? Is there an advocate that they can call on to help them understand what some of their options are, even if they live in a facility like that?
Yeah, I mean, the Department of Health and Human Services has, a housing component, and so is the Area Agency on Aging. Both of those are good resources for that kind of housing help. Unfortunately, that's not something that I, know much about and don't have a lot of knowledge, but there are places that they can go. And those would be my two recommendations. So North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services and the Area Agency on Aging in Wake County.
Right. I guess one thing to plug you though, if they decided it's too much or they can't stay there anymore, they can't afford it, I think they probably can come back to you and maybe you can help them how to stay in place somewhere else or stay in place, maybe get a rent, a couple of them rent something together.
I mean, and our goal, so maybe somebody is no longer driving. That's a good example of kind of the first step of somebody when they age, that they, eyesight, mobility, whatever it might be, but maybe they can't drive. Well, then you're isolated and stuck. So, something that we can do is take people to doctor's appointments, take them to the grocery store. Maybe they just need a help with putting a little laundry in, folding it, changing their linens. Maybe unloading the dishwasher, making a meal. So all of these little things are very helpful to somebody that might have a chronic condition or might have some mobility issues. But us coming in, putting eyes on them, just making sure that they're making it through their day, through their morning, whenever they're most susceptible to, needing that help. It's an opportunity for us to sit down and really help them decide that kind of time frame and, how frequently they need it. Because we're pretty flexible with our clients, really meeting them. Where do you need help, right? There isn't this, you have to have X, Y, and Z. Let's sit down, let's assess the situation, and let's come up with a care plan that really works for you within your budget.
Great. One of the things I think, Kathy, as a mayor, as town, we put a lot of emphasis on youth programs and things like that. And rightfully so, we need to support our youth because, they're the future really.
Yeah.
And they need activities and stuff. But, one of the things when, I was last time, meeting people and things, there is a need for the town to support the seniors in some ways and stuff. And, with COVID coming on, it took 18 to 24 months out of all of our plans and schedules and stuff like that. But now as we getting free from that, what is some things that I as a mayor and as a town can do to support seniors in some ways?
So I think having activities, for those that are mobile that can get somewhere, that isolation of not having, that human contact and interaction of just having activities that they can, come to. It could be bingo, it could be, a chair yoga class, just things to keep them active, because keeping their brain active as well as their body active is going to keep them healthier. And we find that when people are alone and they're stuck and they can't get out, they're not active and they aren't doing things that are engaging. So having programs that would really help our seniors get some engagement would be, a wonderful idea. I think that probably is the biggest one. And I know that you've had, some things. I've seen a couple of programs in Parks and Rec for seniors, but I think more of that would go a long way to really helping them.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've done some things like, I think there's a program to help them go to a mall once every few weeks and stuff like that. Transportation.
Right.
Our mall is going downhill though, so we have to. We need to support.
Pivot and find something else. Well, the cobblestone, depending on what kind of stores are planned there, that might be a closer opportunity for them.
That could be just touring around town, taking cobblestone and things like that. Sitting on a bench with
ice cream. It doesn't have to be big. When you're thinking about a senior, it's the small things, they want to tell their stories and they want you to be able to listen and have conversation. And it's wonderful. I mean, they have treasures that they can provide to us, little, these nuggets of information and experience that we can all learn from. I mean, they're very wise. And that's, I want everybody to love on a senior.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Kathy, it's always meaning something when my co-hosts come back. So and I think you've been the co-host before, so you kind of know what that means. And Terry's back. So before she jumps in and breaks us up, what do you like to leave the community with? From seniors helping seniors. What is a good message you want to leave with for the community here?
Just anybody out there who is struggling to find care for the loved one, or just maybe has a question. I advocate on behalf of seniors in our community and would be happy to help anybody. If I can't provide the help, is to give them a resource so that they can get help. And then anybody out there who is 50 years and older who would like to work a few hours. We're always looking for caring, compassionate caregivers. We have flexible hours, competitive pay, and people who have a passion to help others, I think will find this a very rewarding position. So looking for both clients that need help as well as caregivers, and just anybody in the community, like I said, that needs help, give us a call.
Hmm. Yeah, and Terry, you probably have known Kathy and been involved with Kathy even longer than I have. Probably, you've probably known her longer because I don't know how long you've been in the chamber, Kathy, but probably quite a while.
2017, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you've heard from me also, Terry, what she does. I think.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say this has been a great conversation. Just listening to Kathy and speak really shows that she definitely has a passion for helping others, and then just letting people know that they're not alone in the process of helping to care for their loved ones. I mean, you even mentioned yourself that you were in the midst of raising your family and trying to help raise your grandma. So again, just to know that people aren't alone and there are, places out there that can help them. It just makes a big difference. And then knowing that you take the time to actually, partner the people that work for you with the seniors is crucial because, like I said, you want it to be a good fit. So I really commend you on it, not just being something that you do to make money, but something that's actually going to help both parties involved. So that's wonderful. And Kathy, I applaud you for everything that you do for seniors.
Thank
That's
you.
great. Mhm.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Well,
really
I
great.
appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much. And it was great being on the show.
Thank you, Kathy. And if you want to kind of hang on, we'll bring you back at the end. And
Okay.
Mm.
yeah, Kathy, I tell you, some of the things, I learn more about what Kathy does as it goes along, Terry, and
Mhm.
she does some such fantastic things in seniors, helping seniors and helping seniors. 'Cause I recall, my situation with my mom and dad before they passed away. My mom got a little bit more feeble than my dad did, and
Mhm.
he helped her for years, living together, living at home. And then it got to a point he told me, he said, "Look, I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I just can't help her anymore." And we really didn't have a resource like Terry where they lived at.
Mhm.
If it was, I didn't know about it. And, really didn't have a resource to help, him in his decision that he couldn't help her anymore.
Mhm.
And we had to, make a change for her. But I can imagine at the time thinking back if we had somebody like Kathy to talk to and say, "Hey, how can you help us in this situation?" What a big difference that makes.
Yeah, and I really feel like, well, I think people start feeling um like they're doing like it's a bad thing. Like you said, oh, I should be the one to take care. But like she said, it's a lot. It can be overwhelming. And to know, like I said, that that's what they do. And I feel like, Kathy is coming from a passionate uh place and just making sure that again that this is a good fit and not making the people who are saying, okay, I need help, not feel guilty about it, because I feel like a lot of people I'm getting in that age, and my parents are getting in that age, and I have to start thinking about that. And I don't want to feel guilty because I need help or I'm not the one to be able to take care of them. And so making sure that I do my research and my due diligence and getting the right fit for my parents. And it's just great to know that organizations like Kathy is out there. Kathy's got a huge heart. She does so much for the chamber, and we're so grateful for her. So like I said, she's a big advocate for the seniors and and just the overall community for Roseville. So yes.
Great, great. And next guest, you're going to introduce is one that fills another need, and
Mhm.
that has to do with housing. How do you make it affordable for people to live here that that struggle with housing?
Mhm, mhm. So yeah, our next guest is Yolanda Winstead, and she is the president and CEO of DHIC, which is a nonprofit community developer that builds high quality, affordable housing and provides over other critical services to ensure its communities are diverse, economically vibrant, and affordable. Yolanda holds a bachelor's in business administration and serves on various boards that focus on community housing. And so, with that being said, I'll let you guys take it away.
Hey there. How you doing, Ms. Winstead? Thank you for coming on the show tonight. And I don't know how long we have been talking to each other. It's been a while
It's
now.
been a while.
And it's always a joy talking to you. When we do, I learned so much. This affordable housing thing. How do we make that work? It's really complicated in many ways. And you got such a big experience in that. And just talking to you for 5 minutes, you learn that. I've seen you on other shows, and other forums and talking on panels and stuff like that, and your vast knowledge of that. But before we get into that, just a little bio on who you are, what DHIC is, which that has evolved over the years from just a downtown Raleigh thing to now a much bigger Wake County thing. It has grown such tremendously. As the need grows, your organization have grown. So maybe a little bit about you, a little bit about your organization, and how you can help Rolesville as we progress into the needing affordable housing.
Sure. Well, first, I want to thank you for having me and giving me this opportunity to talk with you. Like you said, we've been talking for a while. I always enjoy our conversations. And so any opportunity that is afforded to us to talk about DHIC's work, we're always happy to do that. So DHIC, as you said, is a nonprofit. We're based here in Raleigh. And we got our start in working in and around the downtown neighborhoods here in Raleigh, and expanded our service area first throughout all of Wake County. To really help first-time home buyers repair their homes, and then help people that wanted to become buyers get into homes. Then we expanded our work into multifamily development to provide affordable rental housing. And so from our beginnings back in the mid-'70s, when we were called Downtown Housing Improvement Corporation, we've grown the organization such that we now have about 3,100 units across 9 counties in our state. Most of those are located here in the Triangle area. And we've also helped either build or renovate and sell about 350 to 400 single family homes. Our primary business line obviously is real estate development. But we learned pretty quickly that in addition to providing the homes that we do for families, that there are other services that families need that we want to try to connect them with. So we also have a resident services team that connects our residents living in our multifamily communities with other agencies and nonprofits in the community to help bring other services to enhance the quality of their life, helping do things around youth development, education, parenting skills, leadership development for our residents. So over the years, our organization's matured such that we are really trying to provide a holistic approach to providing housing and services to the folks we serve. Our hallmark really is that just because family may be low income or low wealth doesn't mean they don't deserve to live in a high quality home. Because what we've learned, and study after study will tell you, families that live in high quality, safe, stable housing do better in other aspects of their lives. And so that's what we're really trying to provide.
Yeah, I know. I know as a small town like Rolesville, it's not small anymore. We got 10,000 people, and but still, that's still relatively small when you think about Raleigh and some of the things they have to face when it comes to housing. But I think one of the things I have learned talking to you and others, that we don't have to do this alone. There's just so many things that Rolesville can partner with to help them, as your organization is and others. And I think Wake County really is putting a lot of emphasis today on affordable housing and how they can help some of the communities around them in affordable housing. So, Wake County has done a lot. They have developed an department in doing that. So maybe talk about some of the things that Wake County is doing that, you're working with them and working with Wake County and some of the future things that, Rolesville can benefit from some of the things Wake County is doing.
Sure. So first, I want to back up just a little bit just to talk to kind of define the terms that we're using. So we talk about affordable housing. And when we say affordable housing, we're really talking about families living in housing where they're not cost burdened. So they're not paying more than 30% of their income for both rent and their utilities. And if you're paying more than that percentage of your income out for your housing and utilities, then you're considered cost burden. So if it's more than 30%, then your cost burden. A lot of families are paying as much as 50% of their income for housing costs. So they're extremely cost burdened. And so Wake County is a tremendous partner to DHIC, and we are able to, participate in some of the funding programs that the county's made available. They provide gap funding for our tax credit developments that we're involved in. Developed with the low-income housing tax credits, we can compete for funding to help fill gaps in the development costs for those. The county has created a landlord engagement unit where they're reaching out to smaller private landlords to help incentivize them to rent to folks that have housing choice vouchers that subsidize their rent, and other folks that have a difficult time finding affordable housing. We have so many folks moving into Wake County and to the Triangle area. We have a supply issue. And so that supply issues led to increased cost of rent and then increased cost for homes that are for sale as well. And so families are struggling to find affordable places to live. And so, the way we try to tackle that problem is to develop housing where the rents can be set such that people don't pay more than that 30% using what's called the low-income housing tax credit program. Mm-hmm. And so Wake County supplements those developments by providing some gap funding that we can compete for. Other ways that we can help to supplement the cost of building that housing and to keep the rents lower is to look at doing some mixed income development where you have the lower income units mixed in with market rate income, and you have a kind of a diversity of income levels living in a development so that the rents for those higher units can help cover some of that cost so that you can afford to have some lower income units in the communities as well. Other things that folks in the community are looking at is trying to preserve what we call naturally occurring affordable housing, which are market rate developments where the rents are such that they don't have any kind of public resources or subsidy, but the rents are set such that they're affordable to those residents. And what we're having is investors and other folks coming in from other places, purchasing those properties when they go up for sale and increasing the rents. And so we want to preserve as many affordable units as we can. Because if we lose that stock, it's very difficult. We already have a shortage of units, and it's very difficult to replace that fast enough that we can house people safely. Some other things that have been done in our community, for a good example, is communities like Apex, Cary, Chapel Hill have passed like for housing, where they take some of 1 cent of their tax revenue and reserve it to help developers that are providing affordable housing and create a way to provide some low-cost funding for those developments. So that's an opportunity that's available in some communities. If you in a community that has some surplus land that's owned by the city or the county or the town, then that land could be used to help bring affordable housing. We've been involved in some developments where the county, for example, has surplus land that we were able to submit a proposal that was selected to develop affordable housing on it. And the county basically are ground leasing that land to the development at a very low cost to make it affordable. So there are, a myriad of solutions. It's a very complex process, as you said, to get all that done. And it takes time. But there are a number of developers in addition to DHIC, working in this space and doing that work. And if I remember correctly, you actually have a senior property in your community that is a low-income mm-hmm. housing tax credit development that serves seniors. And I think there's the agency will announce this year's awards soon, I think in August. Mm-hmm. And there is a proposal to bring some additional affordable housing through that program to Rolesville that I think, as we anticipate, will get funded as well. So any opportunity to provide more units, for residents, because the folks that are living in those units, there are people that, we know and we see every day. There are people working in retail, our school system, our hospital workers, some of our, police, fire workers, EMS, childcare workers. So there's often a misnomer that folks that live in affordable housing, aren't working, and that's just not true. It's just that the cost of housing is rising so much faster than our wages are for employees, and so we just need to be able to provide a resource to make it possible for them to be able to afford their homes that they live in and not pay too much for the housing costs, because it impedes their ability to take care of other needs.
That's exactly right, and that's one of the things. More I talk to people like you and others that's working in Wake County is doing a lot of good work in that. It's a lot of fear in the community when you even use the term affordable housing, and and that's what we're trying to do is to get over that fear, because you mentioned about it's diverse of units. I mean, there's units of affordability at different levels in one community where it doesn't look like there's affordable low income, I would say low income families in there, because it's so diverse. It's different units, it's different mixture of units in there. They're all mixed together. They all look the same. One of the things, talking to one lady that manages one of these ones in Rolesville, says, when a kid come home, in these communities that has the diverse, price points in them and diverse incomes in them, they're not ashamed when they get off a school bus, coming to that community, even though their income may be low, they're not ashamed to live there. It's not a bad place to live. So, it's a good place to come, a good place to be dropped off. It's really nice looking, and it fits into the community where the community really shouldn't be ashamed of it or shouldn't fear it, because it's kind of all blended together.
Yeah, I'd be glad to share some examples of our work. And again, as I said, for us, it's very important to combat that misconception about what affordable housing is, by creating, communities that anyone would be proud to live in. And, we like to say you could drive by a DHIC property and 9 times out of 10, you're not going to know it's an affordable community. And so I did, bring some of those with me tonight. So this first example is the Village at Washington Terrace in Raleigh, which is a multi-phase redevelopment. And this first piece is the family portion. It's 162 units. And in the next slide, you can see we were able to incorporate a child care center in this community. So folks that live in the community have access to child care right there where they live. Next slide, you'll see the senior phase of this redevelopment, Booker Park North, which is 17 units for seniors. And we just completed basically a mirror image of this building with another 68 units for seniors called Booker Park South. And that's actually leasing up right now. Next slide, please. And this is Willow Creek Apartments in Cary, 53 units for seniors. And we have about 4,500 residents that we serve throughout all our properties, and about 1,700 or so are seniors. So we have some properties that are age restricted for seniors 55 and older, and then we also have seniors living in some of our family properties. So this is Beacon Ridge, which is in Raleigh, off of Rock Quarry Road near the Southeast Raleigh YMCA. It's 120 units for families. And this community is integrated with the elementary school and the Y on a separate parcel here. And then we were the housing provider of this purpose-built community. Next slide. And then Capitol Towers is an example of where we've been able to preserve some affordable housing. So this is located very near North Hills, the North Hills area in Midtown. It's 297 units for seniors that could have easily been sold and turned into luxury units because of its location. It's a prime real estate. We were able to work with the Presbytery of New Hope and preserve these units and renovate them for seniors. And I think there's one more slide maybe. And this one is Willard Street Apartments. This is in Durham. It is downtown, just adjacent to the bus transit system there, or station. It's done on an infill lot. It's a partnership that DHIC had with Self-Help Credit Union, and we were able to submit a proposal to the city of Durham to develop this it was city-owned land. And so the city donated the land to the development, and then also provided gap funding and there are 82 units here for families, and there's commercial on the ground floor that has a dental clinic that is run by Local Start Dental, which has a partnership with UNC Dental School to provide dental service for folks of low to moderate income on a sliding scale based on their ability to pay. So this is, we're very excited about this development because it's right in downtown where there's lots of luxury housing being developed. And then this is just a quick list of, some of the other developments that we're currently actively working on. So as you can see, our mission is to provide the highest quality, affordable housing that we can, because again, everyone deserves, to live in a high quality, nice place. And it doesn't have to be a burden to do that. And so that's really what we strive to do every day in our work at DHIC.
Yeah. And I think, you kind of hit it on the head there when you talk about, you can drive by these places and you don't know they're any different than a market-based, complex that pays, straight up rent, because it's really, and like you said, some of them may be, paying straight up rent. They may be paying market-based because they're all kind of mixed in together. And I like the one with the commercial on the bottom. That's something we're trying to do in Rolesville, is create a kind of a style with commercial and residential together, in one, one type of building. I really like that, and I really like the way you guys do that. But I think it's one of the things I'm trying to educate, and I think the commissioners are too, and everybody. Before you get fearful when you hear the name affordable housing, learn about it, learn what it is, learn what it's going to do, learn what the components are, because some of them are mixed from all ranges of income as they fill up. It's different percentages. So learn more about them before you kind of set your opinion of it.
Right, and
really,
people,
it really, what you have is really different than what you would think of when you think of affordable housing, for sure.
Yeah, and people, you get to know the folks that in the community, and you'll find that we all need affordable housing, right? So, and one reason that we hear so much about the topic now is because for many years. The crisis around being able to afford your house was really, or your home was really targeted or focused on, the lowest income families who struggle to pay for their housing because they have to pay so much larger share of their income for housing. But now, as the cost of housing across all income levels has gone up, even folks in the market levels, are still, are struggling with their housing being affordable, because again, you don't want to pay more than 50%, 30% or more of your income for housing, because that is a burden. So we've gone from there being the need for talking just about the need for affordable housing for, the lower income folks, to talking about housing affordability across all income bands. And so sometimes that gets all jumbled up together. But the thing to keep in mind is that, everyone deserves a high quality, nice place to live, regardless of how much you earn, or whether you're have a lot of wealth. Housing's a fundamental right.
Yeah, and I see Terry back. It's always a bad sign to.
It means we have to stop talking.
but a couple of things I just want to make sure that we talk about. And one of them is, I see, here in town, we have two. We have one that's, like you said, age unit, and one that's not. It's a waiting list. It's just not enough of them, because it's hard to get in. So, once you get in, you don't want to lose it. So it is a big waiting list to get into these places. So it's not enough of them, definitely, for sure. And
very true.
And I know you're experiencing that too.
We are. Yes. Typically, what happens is, for example, we're leasing up Booker Park South right now. That'll lease up pretty quickly. And then basically, folks will stay as long as they possibly can. It's seniors independent living. So as long as they can live, the residents can live independently, they will stay there. And so there's not a lot of turnover, and we do maintain a wait list. So then when a unit does turn over, we can easily, fill it again because the need is so great. So you're right. There's not enough. There's just not enough.
Right. And one thing I like about, your nonprofit type organization that you do is they won't one day be converted to regular apartments or regular housing. And that's one of the things that, kind of concerns me at times. Somebody's just trying to get it so they can get it built as affordable housing, then they're going to turn it into something that people can afford to live in. And that hasn't accomplished anything by doing that.
Right. And that's part of our mission as well, is to, we've never sold a property. We've never sold a property, and our goal is to maintain any property we develop and operate as affordable in perpetuity. So when 50 years from now, when there's someone new at DHIC running the show, our goal is to still own those properties and make sure that they're still a part of the affordable housing stock in our community.
Gotcha. Well, it's been great. Terry, do you have a question? Anything you want to say?
No, I not any questions. But just a quick comment. Yolanda, you have provided some great information. And how you had opened up, and which just really stuck with me, is I was glad that you pointed out that affordable housing doesn't equate to poor living. Allowing people to live, in areas where their current income levels, don't currently support is huge.
Mhm.
And, as we always talk about, it takes a village, to raise your child. So the town of Rolesville, bringing affordable housing to the area just shows that the town is invested in growing with diversity. So this is huge. And like I said, you've really given us great information. And, I'm going to, I want to see if I can get me some affordable housing. So again, we just definitely appreciate it, and just looking for your services to be here within the area.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And we're going to continue the dialogue.
Yes, we will.
I think this is one of those things. It's not a destination. It's a journey.
It's definitely true.
I know. DHIC is not going to one day say we're done. We've accomplished everything, because it's not going to happen.
Right,
It's going to be a continued journey for sure.
No, it definitely takes, there's a long timeline to from the time, we start thinking about a particular development to actually getting it on the ground. And so we recognize, it's a journey, like you said, and it also involves lots of partnerships with the, local community, government agencies. So, we're in it for the long haul. So we'll be glad to talk to you, continue to talk with you about, how we might be able to continue to help, Rolesville move toward bringing more of these units to their community.
Thank you much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Terry, that
was two.
That was two great guests. One thing about this show, I don't do it for myself, but I learn a lot. I do. I learn a lot myself by doing these things and talking to, different people, learning about what's going on in the community. Because, I knew Kathy did something with seniors, but I never really figured out exactly what that was and how it kind of worked, what exactly she did with seniors. It's just amazing, things that's happening, and I learn a lot what's going on here.
And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that Kathy probably provides services to people in some of those senior complexes as well, because they're needing aids, like I said, to maybe go to appointments and things like that if they don't have transportation. And I think her agency provides some of that to those type of units as well. So great pairing of those two coming on together tonight. So I think I would be remiss in not, saying some things about some upcoming events for, the chamber. Obviously, we are here for not just, our businesses, for the community and the town of Rolesville. So we, if someone is on tonight and you guys have a business and, you're looking to become a member, we're accepting. So we've got some ribbon cuttings coming up locally here in the area. Home yoga studio and winery They're having their ribbon cutting tomorrow, May 12th, from 4 to 6. That's a couple doors down right from me, so I'm going to be there. Then we have our military appreciation luncheon on May 18th. That's going to be held at a Rise co-working community and event space. We also have another ribbon cutting coming up this month, May 25th, at Local Charm. That's actually not a ribbon cutting, but a business after hours. So we have that coming up. And again, that's here on Rogers Road as well. And then some, networking opportunities that we have. Our quarterly breakfast is going to be the 1st of June. That's coming up at the chamber office. We have another ribbon cutting and business after hours in the month of June. It's Five Star Realty. She actually is Donna Klein, and she actually has space that she rents from the chamber office. And so if you're looking for to rent a small space, in the Rolesville area, feel free to give the chamber a call, because I think we have one more space that, someone can lease out if you're a chamber member. That's another benefit that we offer. But her ribbon cutting is going to be at Greenway. And then we have the Business Expo that's going to be coming up at the end of June. That's a nice event that we'll be hosting at the Rolesville Baptist Church. And then currently we are accepting applications for the Launch Rolesville program. That's a program that we partner with Wake Tech, and we'll be having 2 information meetings, one June 1st from 12 to 1 p.m. and July 11th from 6 to 7 p.m. And those will be both held at the chamber office. So registration for that closes July 31st. So again, we're busy chamber and got a lot going on. So
Yeah, a lot of things going on, and I would think Memorial Day is coming up, pretty quickly, just a couple
Yeah.
weeks, and usually we have a event I think in the park on that. So kind of if you around on Memorial Day, you're not at the beach or somewhere, just come on out. I think we'll meet at Shelter D, I think, out there, if I recall. So think about that. And I think the big event that we have coming up in town, Terry, is the 4th of July. We're going to have a big event this year again. I think last year was really, we outdid ourselves in many ways with the band and the fireworks and everything else. And it's going to be a really good show this year too, I think. So.
And I think I was working with the Parks and Recs, Christine over there, and we're also looking the town is also looking to do something for Juneteenth. So
That's right.
they're going to be partnered with Thorn to Rose. So we're trying to put something together for that and make it really nice for residents in Rolesville to celebrate that as well.
That's right. And then it won't be long for it's August, and we know what's in August. That's the is it the 5K? Is that what you call it?
Yes, we normally have it in May, but due to some logistics reasons, we had to reschedule that. But not a bad thing, because we're going to be having our annual Acts Now 5K dash August 5th here in Rolesville, and we're going to be partnering that with our back to school. I call it the surprise and surprise back to school event, where we give away products or school supplies to kids in need. And so we're going to kind of just put that all in conjunction with the 5K. So it's going to be really, really nice, and I'm excited about that. So yes. So we're going to have a little early because it's going to be a little hotter, but it's okay.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. So what's happening in Rolesville? A lot of stuff, right?
A lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff is happening. So a lot of things going on. So I just reach out to the people out there in town. Just get involved. Look up some of these things that the nonprofits got going on. Some of the things the chambers got going on. The town has events and movies and all type of stuff. So just get involved. There's a lot of things that you can get involved in.
And again, this show is monthly. We do this on a monthly basis. If you're interested in being a guest, you can obviously, follow up with us at the chamber, and we can get that information to the mayor and see if we can get you on.
Yeah. And as you mentioned that, we do have a couple interesting guests next month in June the 8th. A young lady, Dynasty Careless, I think is the way you pronounce her name. She was a graduate from the Rolesville Youth Leadership Program.
Okay.
We have never had anybody. This is the first kind of youth we've had on from the Rolesville Youth Leadership Program.
Mhm.
So kind of, you know, how was that experience for her and what's happened? I think she's graduated last year, I think.
Okay.
So she's been graduated for a while, but I think she's a senior this year, maybe.
Mhm.
But it's, you know, it's going to be interesting. It's always interesting to get youth, you know, involved and on the show. So she's coming up. And then most of us know Steve Deckhouse. He's the president of the Rolesville. What is it? The Rotary Club, I think. And you know that's another organization I don't know enough a lot about. So it's a chance to learn more about what the Rotary Club do and some of the activities they do for Rolesville and that type of thing. So appreciate you bringing up. We got a couple good guests coming up in June.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. There's Alon in the back. How you? And I guess Kathy dropped maybe.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking for the youth leaders. We've been doing that for a while now. I want to say at least 5 years now, possibly, maybe more. So I'm looking for a reunion on there. I need,
Yeah,
you know, have a
that's
reunion and see, like, you know, kind of like, where are they now? You know,
yeah.
one of those kind of things. Like, what are they
What did
doing
they?
now? You know,
Yeah.
and they're doing some great things. I know that. I know that one of the young ladies that graduated, Ashley Vilga, she actually is now working here in town. You know,
Yeah.
so that's you know great. You know, just basically, you know, she went through that program, went to school, and now she's back here in the area, and that's what we want. We want them to come back, so that's good.
That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for being the guest tonight. We learned a
you for
lot
having me.
about affordable housing and appreciate Kathy coming on. And thank you, Terry. Great job. Appreciate you kind of
Try.
co-hosting for us. You know, I always enjoy these shows. They really do a great job. So thanks, everybody.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay,
Night.
have a good one. Bye.
Have a good night.